Hi guys, and welcome back to Northernmost Mustard. So, what is this new car I have? I hear you cry. Well, I'm proud to announce that it is a M140i. So first things first, here is the car. It is a M140i. It's a 67 plate. It's in mineral grey, black alloys, blue calipers. I don't know if you can see them. So I'll briefly talk about some of the specs on this, and it is a shadow edition, so it comes with all the bells and whistles you'd expect any M140i to come with. It's in mineral grey, I believe. It has obviously the uprated BMW LEDs. It's got the gloss black alloys with the blue M Sport calipers that I don't think you can quite see there. You've coming around the back, we've got obviously the privacy glass as standard. I have the standard normal exhaust, so this isn't the M Performance exhaust. And yeah, I think that's it for the outside really. I mean, it does look like an absolute weapon. I absolutely love this car. I think it's absolutely class. So aggressive, so fast, so nice to drive. Engine's bulletproof. Obviously, it's a 3 litre, and it's immense. But what do I dislike about this car? Well, there isn't actually too much to dislike about the outside. I mean, obviously, this is completely stock, this M140i of mine, but there is so much you can change it. You can add splitters, side skirts. You can add anything from diffusers, exhausts, so you can change quite a lot of stuff. Most of my gripes actually come from the inside, so let's take a look. So, you join me from inside the M140i. So, what is the first thing I dislike about this car? Now, it's not a major one, but it is kind of annoying at the same time. So as you remember from my previous video, in the M3, the seats are comfy, but they also have a lovely little M design in the side, and obviously it's an M light car, so it technically is an M car, but as you can see from these seats, they have no particular stitching. They don't have like an M badge there. I think some of the older M2s have a little M badge there at least, but there's absolutely nothing. So these are absolutely no different than the standard 1 Series, 2 Series, 3 Series seats, and although they are good, I must admit there is quite a lot of bolster support. You can see here there's quite a big chunk which you can amend as well, and which you can change on the side of your seat. So they are good seats and they are comfortable, but it's just like, you know, you're getting the sporty version of the top of the range 1 Series. It should have a seat that looks good. You know, like you think about the Ford Fiesta STs, you have the Recaro seats and they look different to the standard EcoBoost seats, right? Or you know, in some of the higher spec cars, they might have particular bucket seats or whatever they have, or even just some different stitching. I think that is a bit of a, you know, not a big deal, but you know, you're getting a standard 1 Series from, you know, even older than this car, and you think, I mean, it's just the same, innit? And this car's a lot quicker, and it's a lot better, and it's a lot more expensive. So you go, well, you could have made a bit more of an effort, BMW. So that is my first thing. It's not a major one, granted, but you do spend a lot of time in the car, and obviously inside the car rather than actually outside looking at the car. And obviously the inside, because you spend so much time, you do pick up on these things, right? And another thing I do want to say is, you know, just because I'm doing 5 things I dislike, I'm having to really think about these. These aren't just going, just hate this, I hate that. Like, you would never sell a car based on the fact that the seats don't have different coloured stitching, or they're not any better than the sort of standard seats. But they are good seats, but like I said, would have been nice for M Light or M Sport seats. So that's number 1. Number 2, and that is this screen. I mean, it's fine. It's, you know, it has stuff, you can see stuff. You can see my delicious MPG there. It's fine, it's great, but you know, it doesn't have all the mod cons of the usual new cars. So, you know, you've not got your Android Auto, your Apple CarPlay, and it is just a bit like, you know, you're still dealing with just the Bluetooth thing. And again, first world problems, and I suppose that's the issue with buying a car that's, you know, a 17 plate car, is that You know, it doesn't have those things. But there are other cars of that age that do have all these things. And I think with BMW, especially in this car, they held on to this level of interior for such a long time. So I would say that's number 2 in general, is that it just doesn't have the features. Again, you can upgrade it, that's fine. You can put a bigger screen in there, I get that. But if you like to keep your car quite standard like I do, then it's kind of frustrating that you can't. Because let's be honest, the onboard navigations are usually pretty naff. So yeah. That will be number 2, is just the infotainment system. It is old hat. And that brings me on to the next part. Having these sort of quick buttons and all that, it's just so old fashioned in this car now, you know. So many buttons, and okay, I don't mind buttons, let's be honest, like they make it easier to press and they're quite nice when you're driving, and sometimes, you know, if you've got a touchscreen, you can be all fingers and thumbs when you're driving. But it's just an old fashioned dash, you know, it's just old fashioned. And I get it, it's a 17 plate car, that's only 5 years ago. And like I said, cars of a similar age were doing it a lot better at that time, and BMW just felt well behind the curve. Although I will say with mine, I did go for the uprated LCI, so obviously the completely electric, which is actually a nice touch. That is good, but this just doesn't match. So number 2 would be this bit here, just not that great. So for number 3, we have to step outside the car and we go to the doors. So if you aren't a M140i owner, you may not know this. If you are, you probably already do. But you can see here, there is, I don't know, focus. You can see there's rubbing. So the doors rub on each other, and I think this is quite a standard fault, and it tends to happen quite a bit. Again, not a big deal, but if you keep your car in really nice condition, having to add some sticky tape or something on it to stop it wearing is just frustrating. Make the doors fit, make it work properly. So for me, that's not great. You know, it's a high performance car. You've got to get that sort of stuff right. So again, a little thing, not a big deal, but just annoying. So we're going to come around the back of the car now, and for my number 4, that's quite annoying. And again, I get it. It's annoying people whinging about a nice car, because I've got to make a video somehow, right? But I would say the next is probably actually the standard exhaust. I mean, it doesn't sound terrible, but it also doesn't sound amazing. And you really do have to get the M Performance exhaust to make it sound really, really good. I'll give it a cheeky rev in comfort first, and then we'll go for sport mode. So that was comfort. Actually sounded alright, to be fair. Right, let's go for sport mode. Nah, I'm lying. Sounds absolutely sick. It does sound good. It does sound good, I have to admit. But actually, if you do actually get a proper sports performance exhaust on it, it sounds way better. So again, it sounds good when it's like warm, it's been sat on my drive and it does that, and you have to give it some to make it sound like. But when you're driving normally, it's generally quite quiet. You have to make it make noise, basically. If that makes sense. Probably not, but. So we're back in the car now, and my next one that is quite annoying is this piano black interior. I don't know if this is. I don't think this is on all cars. I think it is different on each car. I think it is not an optional extra. I'm not sure, but you have to check. But this piano black trim, as you can see, you probably can't see it. Probably looks really shiny and clean, but actually it's quite. You maybe can see it a bit. It actually gets scratched so easily. You only have to look at it and it starts scratching. That and the screen and the LCI, if you use a cloth that's not been ever touched by human hands, it will scratch it to absolute pieces. And obviously your hands are all over it and touching it all the time, so it can be quite frustrating to look down and it's scratched. Again, completely replaceable, but you know, quite annoying, especially when it's on like the door handles that get touched a lot. Yeah, it can be pretty annoying. And finally, number 5 is the cold start on these things. Now, if you live on a relatively small estate like I do, new build estate, and you are doing this, starting this car up at 5 in the morning to go to gym on a cold day, even with the standard exhaust, the cold start is absolutely ridiculous. And obviously, even worse if you have the performance exhaust as well, or you have an aftermarket exhaust. I don't know if you can hear me that well next to the car. This isn't even a proper cold start. It's been on. So yeah, can be quite annoying if you're a neighbour of mine and it echoes down this driveway. It can be pretty loud. But I'd say those are my 5 things really. So you've got the seats. You've got the infotainment system that's old, clunky, doesn't have Apple CarPlay, doesn't have all those features. Yes, I know we can update those, but ultimately, you know, and I do get that it's an older car, but it's still annoying. You're getting a newer car that's not as good and you think, oh, I just wish I had that. What else was there? The piano black interior, the doors that rub, and the cold start, I'd say. There are a couple of other things, like, you know, when the suspension is a little bit less firm than, say, the M Sport cars, you know, like the M3 I had. And I hear people complain about that. It's a bit wallowy in corners, but you can't have it both ways, right? You can't have it really, really tight round corners, but then also not be crashy over stuff. So I think you've just got to take the rough with the smooth, really, on those sorts of things. So yeah, I think that's everything about my M140i that I dislike. And to be honest, I really struggled to come up with just those, to be honest. I'm really nitpicking when it comes to those sorts of things. So yeah, so I hope you enjoyed the video. Please like, comment, subscribe. The sort of content that's going to be coming soon is more car content, more M140i content. We've got more sausage dogs who you may have been able to hear him barking in the house. And also fitness content. You might notice that the last time you saw me, quite a lot different looking. I mean, I see myself in my camera, I'm looking quite trim now. And I've lost 25 kilos, so maybe we can talk about that. And I've got a couple of events coming up, like high rocks, ultra marathons, those sorts of things. So a lot to look forward to. Please comment below, please like, please don't give me too much grief. I love this car, and I realise I'm very fortunate to have it, and it is a lovely car. But you know, we make these videos to make interesting content, hopefully. So peace, love you all, bye.